Alright, lesson 16, external corrosion. Introduction. As petroleum energy the supervisors require maintenance of the preventive maintenance structure of the necessary for the maintaining the equipment of the facility that correspond with the highest cost for the product for the facility important to have the understanding of the corrosion preventing measures that can be employed with the control corrosion. Corrosion is the rust oxidation. Most metals are not found with the nature of the pure metal with the combined with the other metals such as oxygen forming compounds as well as we call ores. To obtain metal from ore, the compound subject to the extreme heat with the break of the chemical, the interaction between the elements, energy they add to each step of the chain, the shape, the end of the product. Note the corrosion cycle of the material that constantly trying to return to the natural state. The issue of the eroded iron oxide of the refining milling of the corrosion. Steel corrodes in the soil with the water, electrical energy relief. The curve of the corrosion of the process of the two primary steps of the actual physical change of metal. Curve the direct electrical current is generated, and the process of the refer with the electrochemical reaction conditions necessary for corrosion cell electrolyte soil in the water soil and or water anode deteriorates for the corrode cathode protected by the anode external corrosion between the anode and cathode of the pipe. All four of the above must be present in the corrosion to perceive the corrosion cell. Or if the corrosion cell is similar metals, if any of the two metals are shown with the plate for the conducting environment, there will be the difference between them. Each metal with the chart of the differential position dimensional with the metal uppermost of the chart within the lower will make the anode. This metal with the lower and any of the metal with above the chart is the cathode. Note this metal with the material higher up the chart will be on the one to be corroded. Galvanic corrosion. Galvanic corrosion, self-generated corrosion activity, the result of it when a pipe is placed in the soil, the difference of potential developing song with a pipe with the difference between the different pips, pipe with the difference with the result of the similar metal with the result of the difference with the soil with the simple form of the galvanic cell with the flash battery, the dissimilar metal with the aluminum pipe that connected with the collar with the iron valve. Galvanic corrosion occur with the difference of the electrical potential of the dissimilar metal with the take of the aluminum pipe and anode with the cast iron valve with the cathode. The emission with the aluminum pipe will corrode the given of the energy from the DC current to the protect the cast iron valve. When the new pipe not being used as an old pipe currently used, the pipes are constructed well that the new pipe will be corroded, thereby protecting the old pipe from corrosion. The new pipe will not last as long due to the fact that the corroding protecting the old pipe with the corrosion is halted. Dissimilar soils. Different soil with mineral content affect with the rate of the corrosion underground structure. The type of the consistency of the soil will determine the proper actual construction as well with the other construction soils. So they can determine the makeup of the soil with the different soil from the gravel with the goods that get drained with the soil with which will have the high of the concentration of the corrosive material. For example, the acid soil with any other impurities. The pH measure the acidity, the alkalinity of the solution. The pH is numerical equation of 7 the neutral position. pH less than 7 is the solution of the acid. pH greater than 7 is the base or alkaline. Numerical rating with a decreases down to 0 the acidity, increase the vegetation added and composes. Numerical rating with up to 14 the alkalinity, increase the mineral salt. Resistance of the soil electrical flow of the varied due to the type of the soil of the makeup of the example of the moist with the materials mineral of the low soil resistive the result of the low circuit resistance means higher current flow with the more corrosion. High soil resistive the result of the high circuit resistance lower current flow less corrosion. Resistant reading with the centimeter the example of soil resistive the standards. Note the rating scale of the guide for the example of general soil resistive that are well in the 10,000 centimeter does not mean that there will be no corrosion, just 10 C less. Preferred resistance of the reading of the above 300,000 ohms will indicate with a good drainage less mineral buildup. Or differential aeration oxygen concentrate for the simple mean the oxygen from the air more readily available through the electrolyte. One part of the structure the another there will be the difference potential between the two. The power of the structure have the restricted oxygen available. The anode will corrode. Another example, the different aeration of the burn pipe, buried pipe with the pump at the bottom of the pipe trench is often dense with the soil with a relatively loose packed fill permanent. The greater oxygen available at the top of the pipe with the water range electrolyte to the present. In a situation, DC current can flow from the bottom of the anode to the pipe of the cathode at the top of the pipe. The type of the corrosion is more difficult to detect. It's not visible on the underside of the pipe. The pipeline passes through the marshy area of the pipe. The pipe is either the side of the marshy area of the dry well, the air aerated, allowing the high concentration of the pipe, whereas the part of the pipe of the marshy area, the high concentration electrolyte, water, moisture. Or straight current migration. Straight current corrosion is called the direct current traveling through the earth or some sort of the external underground metallic source that can make the structure at one point creating the cathodic condition. Following along the structure of the pipeline with the distance of the discharge into the environmental completely structure with the external source. The point of the discharge metal structure the anode referred to the corrosion of the field with the holiday shape of the current to be served with the long underground structure. The structure of the pipeline can be in problem undergoing the structure of the shape of the current present in the earth. Source of the straight current they can either be made easily on the more serious natural man-made source of the direct current include but not limited to DC electrical motor, DC power, transit, trolley systems, DC powered mining operation, DC welding operation, high voltage direct current electrical power transmission systems, cathodic protection system underground structure other than affected structure. Note that the other source lift the dynamic source except for the last one with the typical static nature source with the state current with the known with the telluric earth current with a magnetic origin, the direct current with the variable nature for the earth crust for the result of the variations. Logical corrosion. Bacteria require the organic moisture of the food supply the normally available to leave some degree of the air in the earth. If a major food supply combined with the oxygen restrict the corrosion action begin with the underground bare with the metal with the structure of the being intensified. The example of the piece of the wood line when against the bare metal pipe with the biological corrosion could be in combination sort of the corrosion cell. Corrosion probably give the point with underground structure do not necessarily combine with just one previously discovered in the corrosion cell. The two more sort of the corrosion cell the current with the reacting with the given location such that is similar metals and differential action factors affecting reactive rate of corrosion. The following factors affect the rate of corrosion. All the for the corrosion cell is established. There has been a DC potential between the anode and cathode corrosion cell in order for the corrosion to current flow, the high potential for the higher the current flow, the greater amount of the corrosion. Corrosion control. The corrosion control procedures can be used to control with a higher degree of the freedom of the corrosion. The use of the preventable corrosion control measure for the put in the effect of the underground metallic structure the best way to go, but it does not have the corrosion does not occur. The effect of the fact of the corrosion control measure can be applied with the alternate further corrosion coatings if to be learned whenever the direct current flow of the underground metallic structure and surrounding electrolyte with zero through water. The metal will be consuming the corroded and points for the current discharge. The following simple ecological insulating barrier coating will be played between the metal with the surrounding electrolyte. Corrosion control could not be flow there would be no loss of the metal. Before we decide whether the coating's ultimate aims for the corrosion control of the underground structure, we need to look furthermore, and it must be understood the very important catch of the statement of the use of the coatings if the performance template must be perfect, it must remain perfect. Its use of the coating must be tightly bound with its sand holding back filling to prevent moisture corrosion and accumulation of the coil steel surface. Electrical resistance the coating must provide electrical insulation such much for the corrosion electrochemical must be suitable for the use of the cathodic protection long term protection. Water resistant. The coating must be ensured the material initial high electrical resistivity does not diminish properties of the water, and electrical resistivity are related to the coating absorbed the water. Electrical resistivity deteriorates. The chemical resistant coating must withstand the corrosion effect of the soil. Chemicals must have the resistance of the oil in the pipeline's underground storage tanks. So little stress the resistance of the coilings must be rest of the deformation form so the alternate wetting and dry cell cycles on the soil. Or 6. Economical aspect. The coating must provide long-term protection. Underground structure such as the pipeline, economic, practical, feasible to provide with an insulating coating of the will meet the criteria of the full length of the pipeline. One many types of the coatings have developed over the years. The vinyls and the epoxy and the often use the submersions version of the coal tar enamel extruded polyethanol epoxies that are also used underground. The best coating of material to apply with the handling properly provided their poor overall job. Properly clean surface penetration is more likely the single the most important factor in the surface with a good coating. Proper priming. No, it's not too thick or thin. Some coatings do not require primary proper application for the coating temperature, thickness, and cure. Proper handling with a coated surface. The application does not mishandle the top of the bang or scar with the coated pipes. Other protective method, the galvanic scarficial analytic cathodic protection being self-propelled normally do not depend on the outside surface of power, though maintenance requirements minimum state current and probability interference with the other underground structures minimum. No, the pipe of the cathode which connect with the anode placed with the alongside of the metal structure the insulate with the cable to connect with the pipe of the cathode to the anode. The anode must become the metal listed higher than the metal activity that share with the DC current flow of the anode through the earth electrolyte with the cathode pipeline back to the anode by the way insulated cable. No, galvanic sacrificial anodes and installed not along the full length of the pipeline, only at points that additional corrosion protection is needed. The high corrosion probability that insulation will cover the points of the pipeline to anodic to become the cathodic, and in the area of the already cathodic will remain cathodic, thereby stopping corrosion. Limitation: low driving voltage, relatively low current output capacity. Note: the protective current generated with the galvanic acid depends upon the inherent potential between the anode structure to be protected. If the structure made with the iron, steel, any material which is more active, the higher than the electromotive the series that can be used. The anode material with the galvanic anode with zinc, magnesium have much wider the UV due to the higher voltage. Aluminum is used in primary where the seawater is encountered. The underground application for the anode is usually surrounded with a special backfill mixture. The backfill used to make sure gypsum, bentonite, sodium sulfate, and they are made of the recent backfill surfaces. Uniform environment anode thereby uniform corrosion. Degree if the anode earth resistance retaining moisture thereby maintains lower resistance. Impressed current cathodic protection. Galvanic mode of insulation self-propelled with impressed current insulation use the separate source of the direct current with the current the forces from the source of the impressed the circuit between the source structure for the protected and with the ground bed. An AC alternating current of 120, 240, 440 volts connected with the rectifier with the chain with the power with the DC current, direct current with the install of the cable, the current with the rectifier with the ground bed, the current flow with the ground bed through an analyte through the electrode, the electrical structure, metal structure with the electrical along the cable connection to the metal structure with the current moving along the cable connection between the metal structure and the rectifier to complete the circuit. Rectifier is commonly given the fixed output with the adjust of the suit with the specific requirements of the cave for the current output chain with required by the automatically controlled rectifiers. Advantages improve the current installation wide over the range of the DC volts with current output capacity that provides greater flexibility in system design. Single installation will protect with much larger structure that provide protection with the structure of the galvanic anode installation cannot. 5. Disadvantage impressed with the current installation. Greater maintenance required with dependence availability depending on the power supply. Continuing energy costs, AC current, drainage mitigation bonds, type of the corrosion with the current, the method, control method, particularly applicable with the straight current corrosion problem. The straight current travel along metal structure until the point of the exit is avoided. Reach. The point of the corrosion and curve. The damage mitigation bond with the insulated cable attached for the metal structure to provide the path of the straight current to return with the source of the damage to the structure. 13. Design. Before a system is built, during the design stage, the protection system is considered soil samples along the route with taking them to determine the corrosion area of the type of the protection method is needed. All forms of the protection will be the control corrosion metal structure. Alright, lesson 17. Meter verification improver tank.